aristocratic British family is due to travel to the island of Grenada to publicly apologise for the ownership of more than 1,000 enslaved Africans in the 19th century. The Trevelyan family will also pay reparations to people of Grenada, where it owned 6 sugar plantations. One member of the Trevelyan family is my colleague Laura Trevelyan, and she's a BBC presenter, and she spoke to our news reporter Azadeh Moshiri in a personal capacity.
You know, it was really horrific as a day, and when I went to Grenada and I saw for myself the plantations where slaves were punished, when I saw the instruments of torture that were used to restrain them, when I looked at the neck braces, at the manacles, at this system of dehumanization that my family had profited from as absentee slave owners of these sugar plantations, I felt ashamed, and I also felt that it was my duty. You can't repair the past, but you can acknowledge the pain, and that I wanted to try to do something to make it better. And so that's partly what's led our family to this moment where we're going to issue a public apology when 7 of us go to Grenada later in February, and in consultation with Grenada's National Reparations Commission, we hope that by establishing a fund that will look at economic development in Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean, that we can do something to help an island where all of the wealth was extracted.
So you talked about duty, you talked about acknowledging what happened. You decided to go back to Grenada and film a BBC documentary there. What impression did it leave on you once you got there?
Well, Azadeh, when slavery was abolished in 1833, slave-owning families like my own were actually compensated for the fact that they had lost what was referred to as their property. That's how slaves were seen. I wanted to go to Grenada in the wake of the racial reckoning here in the United States and just try to understand the link between the past and the present, and to understand how the past defines the present. And when I went there, I saw an island where poverty is rife, where there's a lot of obesity, of hypertension, of ill health, which is linked to slavery, health experts feel, because of decades of poor diet, of stress. And so it was really overwhelming.
And so some people could see what you're doing and argue, you know what, this is a drop in the bucket, and that it's not going to fix the generations of difficulties and setbacks that these families have had to face. What would your response be to that?
Yes, I completely understand that this can seem like a very inadequate gesture, that our family received the equivalent of about £3 million in compensation when slavery was abolished. We got that money in 1834. So for me to be giving £100,000 almost 200 years later for a fund that's going to look at economic development in Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean, maybe that seems like it's really inadequate. But I hope that we're setting an example by apologising for what our ancestors did by enslaving the people of Grenada. And I also hope that we're looking at solutions, at how do you, through a university research fund, how do you come up with ideas for how this wealth gap is addressed?